FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot and the mid-dot.
It's the District Divided Commanders versus Cowboys Christmas Special.
Two bitter rivals, one holiday showdown wrapped in lights and snow. Get ready for hard hits, big plays, and a sleigh full of holiday cheer. It's the District Divided Christmas Special.
Welcome, everyone, to a special episode of District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I'm Amit. That is the magnificent KDot. Just a quick shout out to KDot for carrying the last episode. Thoroughly appreciate it. I listened to the whole thing. I absolutely loved it. And if you guys haven't had a chance to listen to it, it's his post-game thoughts and reaction to the Eagles loss, but it was awesome. So great job, KDot. This episode is about quick touch on Hard Knocks. We got that All-22 review that KDot had mentioned in the prior episode against the Philadelphia Eagles, what went well, what didn't. And then we jump into the Christmas game against the Dallas Cowboys. It's at 1 p.m. It's on Netflix, I believe.
Yep.
And so, tune into that or, don't, but we're here to preview it and we'll give you our predictions and the comment mailbag as we always do. Before we begin this episode, if you could please, it's the holiday season. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Thank you for the kind words. I think it's even more impressive that you're still alive. And then share this shit!
Share this shit, especially if you saw what KDot saw pre-production. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it with Hard Knocks, which unfortunately I missed in my delirious state. So I will be watching that, but also be tuning in right now to KDot, who did see it and does have thoughts on it. So KDot, how was the latest episode here?
This is another banger of an episode, but because we all know what the outcome is, it doesn't necessarily feel great. But they highlighted Frankie Luvu, which was always nice to see. I think that more people, if people have watched Hard Knocks and they're in the comment mailbag, I think the overall thing is that people are going to start hating how much they're starting to like the other teams and the other players in the NFC East, it's a thing. I'm not going to big these people up, but they're making it really hard to root against some guys as far as the way that they're personalizing them in that sense. But overall, it wasn't a whole. Compared to what it is that I think everybody kind of thought we were going to get with what was happening behind the scenes with the JD5 decision and whether or not we were going to see anything as far as that. Not really. No, there's nothing juicy. Really, it was all just sort of boilerplate. Like, this is kind of what it boils down to. I think everybody kind of understands or knows the reason that JD5 is shut down is a combination of them trying to protect him from himself, and he's still not 100%, but they still want him to practice this, that, and the other. Yeah, it just feels like no tough questions necessarily being answered. It's just a kind of a powder puff piece.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it just felt inconsequential as much as it's just making me like everybody just a bit more. Also, the only other question I have is that why is every time we're in a position meeting, not all the players in the position are in the position meeting?
Do they do that with the tight ends again?
Yeah, I think it was the tight ends this time. I think the quarterback. It always feels like anytime there's a room, there's just not everybody in it. I think the only time I ever see everybody in it is maybe defensive line. That might be it, or offensive line. But it always feels as though it's like, hey, there's some guys missing here. And I get it. Like, people got to go. You got to go like facility cold plunges and trainers and this, that, and the other. But no better scheduling. No. Just curious.
Now, do you think that Hard Knocks has the ability to request like, hey, we want just to focus on Zach. Can we do a couple minutes here?
I don't know how they do it exactly. It is something that I was curious about even watching this last episode, which is like, my guess is that they follow more than one person per week, and you're just not sure who it is going to get used depending on what happens storyline. Because they've been nailing this from a storyline perspective, like week in and week out. I think this week is probably the furthest they got away from it as far as who they follow for the Commanders, because it was Frankie Luvu, and I think it was the follow-up from what it is that happened in the NFC Championship game with them jumping off. They spent some time on that. That was actually kind of fun, seeing them on the field as far as like the way that they were communicating and how the game got chippy over time and stuff. That was decent to see. But yeah, it felt like there was just on our side, the only people that really would have been worthy to follow is probably the quarterbacks. But even from that, I think that like from what I've seen, it looks like Jaden has limited his availability to the Hard Knocks, or at least they might be insulating him a little bit. So good to know that the whole Savior complex is not fully completely thrown out the window.
Yeah, no, well, thank goodness for that. And then the low light obviously would have been the game itself. Once again, losing 29-18. I did. So in listening to your episode, I know you had maybe touched on it a little bit, the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I love that part of it. Honestly, I know that these guys went for 2. I have no problem with them going for 2. There's been a lot of stuff. I know people say it's disrespectful. They're up. They get to choose what they want to do. There's been a lot more disrespectful stuff that's happened over the course of this season for us. Them going for 2, whatever. It's a division rivalry. So be it. I do like that they showed fight throughout the whole game. And I'm okay with emotions spilling over when you're, at where you're at. We call it the division tournament. I honestly didn't mind the offensive lineman was Steen getting jumped by our boys. I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah, the more you talk about this, the more I'm starting to relive the Hard Knocks episode and the parts that I didn't necessarily like and didn't want to talk about, which was mostly like near the end of that game. Seeing them with like the NFC East Championship shirts and the boxes and everything already in FedEx Field or in Northwest Stadium ready to wear them, that was a little annoying. And them leaving the stadium with them, and then how dejected our locker room looked compared to those guys' locker room. The fight itself did look like you could see it was building up. And even at Hard Knocks, you got to see like the way that they framed it was Washington's losing, they go for 2, time to fight. And it's like, maybe that is the case because we do see him in 2 weeks from now. I am, whether or not I have a problem with them going for 2, sort of irrelevant. It's more of, it is disrespectful. And if you don't want that level of disrespect, then stop them. Yeah. So like, right. So like, but if you do want to if you want to play in that, then I have the right to feel angry about it. But to fight somebody after the whistle goes off when you're losing, not necessarily the best way to take care of it. How about you punch them in the mouth during the game? So like, that's the way that I would handle it. Or you're just going to get bitched out and punked out every time you go play these guys. So like, I'm all about putting it on the line against the Philadelphia team because I don't give a fuck. But that's just me. Like I am for stoking the flames of this thing.
If I went ahead, if I had just said that it was not disrespectful, then I misspoke. It is, but it is within their right to choose to 100%. Do it, is right. What I'm to say, just to clarify that. Any final thoughts here on Hard Knocks before we move over to the All-22 review?
I just want some fun shit to look at on Hard Knocks. The vibes are not great right now, okay? There's one good vibe moment we've had so far in Hard Knocks, which has been the Dan Quinn, we lost, but we're not lost, and then that has gone out the fucking window.
All right, and with that, we go over to the All-22 review featuring our very own KDot.
You're dialed in to District Divided. This is the All-22 review with KDot, brought to you by Blockbuster Video.
What's good, y'all? Let's rewind the tape on that touchdown and break it down angle by angle.
The All-22 review with KDot, only on District Divided.
That's an absolutely beautiful intro brought to you by Blockbuster. And players running out of bounds on touchdowns. That was awesome, KDot. And now we're going to go ahead and look at this All-22 against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Perfect. I hope you guys like drinking water.
With KDot watching not 50 screens, not 60, but 70 to bring you all the different angles and perspectives to break down this game. KDot, over to you once again. 29-18 loss at home to the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles clinch the NFC East. Commanders looking for more solutions yet again.
All right, so full disclosure. I had started watching All-22 before I did the last episode. Is what it is. Don't want to spend a lot of time on this one because Lord knows, with as hurt as this fucking team is, what do we have to really look forward to or hang our hats on with the next time that we meet Philadelphia? I doubt it looks the same, right? So I always say we're going to breeze through this thing. Let me see if I can. And then you, because you missed last episode, feel free to ask me anything you want to. You can kind of dictate this as we go, okay? Same sort of layout. Good, bad, offense, defense, and let's keep moving, okay? Good. Everybody knows the early fucking game plan, the short field work, at least early on, was pretty legit until they get into the red zone. And what the fuck? Okay. And then you just, now, once again, like I said, going back last 2 episodes now, if you're Dan Quinn, you think, hey, you didn't expect this, you get points, right? You get 3 points instead of 0 points because you didn't expect to get the ball this early in the game. So it's anything's extra is anything extra. I can understand the philosophy itself, but at the end of the day, it just did not. The more and more I watch the game, the more and more I look over the plays, the more and more I just feel as though we weren't sure what it is that we wanted to do. in this one as far as like that identity piece, or it's like they're on the margin as far as like, I mean, I guess we could win this game. Maybe we play it a little safe to win the game, or are we just going to dictate and try to win the fucking game?
Which is my first question. Who are we this season? Right? It was very clear as to who we were last season, kind of up until that NFC Championship game, actually, where we did kick a field goal, not to reference Coach's comment, but we did kick a field goal and went up 3-0.
Yep.
And then, the Eagles end up winning that game, but it seemed to betray who we are. We get that early turnover, which was awesome. You feel a little bit of juice, a little bit of excitement. I don't know why we didn't go for it, especially with our record. So I completely agreed with you there, KDot. I just don't know who we are this season. That's a criticism I have of the org, of the coaching staff there.
I agree, but I go back to, I just think it's a mental thing from the top down. I think that the level of success they had last year, that was sort of a surprise, and they rolled it back this year sort of with the same mentality they had last year, but just not working the same way. And I think the injuries conflate with that. I think there is a savior complex, not necessarily Jaden's fault, but what just kind of came to be with the success that came from last year. Everyone's in a weird mental space, in my opinion. That's why you have things that are not necessarily working the same way they were, is that everybody kind of thinks like, hey, we learned how to play like a commander. There was a certain threshold that we had last year when we were in an NFC Championship game. Why don't we just do the same thing? I understand the logic. I think anybody can understand that logic, right? But right now, because of the injuries, because of certain things, you're not able to have the same success. You're just not. The magic is gone, right? It's way too real now. And I think that with that, there comes this like, I look, no one knows exactly what it is they want right now from this. Are we jockeying for draft position? Do you want Jaden to sit because he might get hurt? Or you want Jaden to sit because he is hurt? Do you want Jaden to sit because you don't care about these games? Do you want Jaden to play because you do want to care about these games? Do you have Mary? No one knows what the fuck they want right now. Like, everybody wants, like, you got some people that I think want us to win these games. I think that's probably from a coaching staff standpoint, like, hey, we got to win these games. But I also think that you have guys like when Dan Quinn's under fire, one of the criticisms I do have for him that I think is a thing is that when push comes to shove, I don't think he knows exactly what it is he wants to do. I think he's too unsure of himself. Like in F1, I'm a McLaren fan. Shout out to Lando Norris.
Shout out.
This shit. Now, the entire season of F1 last year, and I know I'm getting kind of in the weeds with something, but like going into last season for Formula One, I wasn't worried about anyone more than I was worried about McLaren. And the reason being is that when we are leading the pack, we don't know what the fuck to do. We're much better following other teams as far as strategy goes. But when you are the guys and trying to dictate, you don't know what the fuck it is to do. And you got Max Verstappen fucking bringing that and that, and you're probably going to fuck it up, which is what I came down to the last race. In this is what I'm saying is that I don't think Dan Quinn knows what to do sometimes or who it is he is. I think that sometimes it is, let's play a little safe compared to what it is. I think the mentality should be is like, let's play on the edge. That's where you get like Dan Campbell. There's never a choice with that. It's we just play on the edge. I think that last year there were even moments once or twice in the season in which we were kind of like, hey, I thought we were the team that did this thing, and we don't. And I do think that like when the pressure gets high or they think there's a moment where, hey, we might be able to win this, but just by a little bit, we got to play it safe. And I'd rather us go all the way in the tank the other way. I'm cool with us losing that way, honestly.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair from an identity standpoint. Anyway, go ahead and continue with what else you saw.
Yeah, run game was good enough before basically the injury. Like it was, they were doing certain things that were pretty well. I did see some stuff that were just missing out there. There were some times where you had some of the running backs just running into areas that they probably shouldn't have ran into. Like there was some more meat on the bone as far as from a rushing standpoint I saw in this game, which also makes it kind of frustrating when you had Cliff Kingsbury had some of these moments where you kind of went away with him when we were actually having some success. I really do think that you got to have all the running backs in there just kind of going for it, and when you don't, we once again kind of lose who it is we are. And I think that we sort of know who it is we are, at least when this comes from a success standpoint. Also, from the O-line to battle our asses off, especially without Tunsil. Like, I got to give him credit. Like, at certain moments, it didn't necessarily look all that great, but overall, just if you look at, like, what it came down to, did they give him enough to try to win this game? Absolutely. I wouldn't put anything on the O-line as far as the outcome of this particular game. There were some moments as far as some of the hiccups, like Brandon Coleman had some fuck-ups. Connolly, everybody had a fuck-up here and there, but I wouldn't say the offensive line was, like, god-awful. I still like the trajectory where the offensive line is going. But yeah, there's definitely Connolly every once in a while. It's like, oh, all right, yeah, it's a big game. These guys are really, really good. I'm still learning. And then, yeah, some real flashes in the passing game. We did talk about him taking like 1 or 2 shots. The Terry McLaurin pass is still something that was just glorious to see. Contested catch, comes down with it. So there are some glimmers here. Like, there are some things that you can always see as far as this team that makes you think like, man, if we were healthy, what would this honestly look like? And that's going to be a curiosity for me. Like, once again, I always go back to, I still think you're looking at probably a 500 team right around if they were fully healthy. And to me, that would look a far cry away from the way that we look right now, because it looked like we actually were doing something. Just that we're coming up against teams that are better than us, and it doesn't necessarily feel that way. It just feels like we're lost. Yeah, perks, everything. Dude, I'm telling you, there's some things that I actually feel excited about as far as from a future standpoint. I just want all these guys healthy, and I really want Jaylin to be out there. The bad offensively, red zone, situational calls in certain areas, I question everybody as far as from a big, when the big moments come, what are you doing? I feel like we overthink everything. We talk about the defense and like guys overthinking. I think everybody's overthinking everything. Last year was like, hey, it's 4th and less than 3. Go for it. There was no why aren't we just being that team? Or, hey, short yardage situation. Do we really need to spread it out and try to do something fancy? How about we just run it up the fucking gut because it's been working? I just think that we're overthinking things. Good on defense to start was legit. Early run defense was solid. I mean, you held Philadelphia to 7 points in the first half.
Do you okay, so it was what? I can't remember if it was 2nd and goal or 3rd and goal it was the 2, I want to say, in the very first possession of the game. Yeah. Right. And then if I remember correctly, and actually I didn't even say what's going on. I'm recovering from the flu right now, so that's why I'm a bit like this right now. So appreciate it, guys. And KDot. We passed 2 straight times at that point. I think Cliff has sometimes been accused of getting a little too cute in the red zone this season in particular. Last season, we were awesome in the red zone. Jayden Daniels is fully healthy. He's got those shorter, quicker wide receivers and Zacchaeus and Crowder, etc. So like it seems to work. And Eckler's healthy, right? Like that seems,
yeah. And Jaden's feet.
Yes. Do you think that this is something Cliff can change, or do you think that this is something that is just going to be a part of Cliff Kingsbury as long as he's OC over here?
I think I could look across the league and say there's a lot of OCs that don't know when to just shut the fuck up and run the football. I think you can go back to fucking you know what I watched the other night?
Do we have one of those is my question.
We got a guy that's got to work on it.
Okay, that's all. That's fine.
We got a guy that's got to work on it. Because, yeah, you're right. I had it down here. This is the first drive. 3-yard run from Rodriguez. 7-yard pass from Mariota to Terry. Getting Terry involved early. I think I went over this the other day.
Yeah, you did.
5-yard run from Chris Rodriguez. 6-yard run from Chris Rodriguez. 3-yard run from Chris Rodriguez. Here's your 2nd and goal from the 2. Incomplete pass, short right. Incomplete pass to Burks, which should have been something. And then you're kicking a field goal.
Like, what the fuck is that?
And that's what I'm saying is like when you're living on the edge, it takes those one moments to get behind the sticks and one moment to get. You're playing on the margins, guys. Like if you're gonna win these games against these teams like that, you're only gonna win by a score. That's just you're not blowing anybody out. You're gonna win by a score. So if you're gonna do that, every single possession and maximizing of points is gonna matter tremendously. Which in that same token, one could say that and say maximize points, get the 3, or do. But in my thought process, if I'm getting into that situation. It's known from Dan to Cliff, you're in 4-down territory. Make it work. And from that standpoint, that should have the thing that makes sure that the play calling matches up with what it is that we know that we're in 4-down territory. Right now, it feels as though when we get into those situations, nobody honestly knows what it is they want to do.
So that sounds like a lack of planning and preparation then.
Yes. And lack of planning, preparation. Yes. Yeah, that would be something I could put on the coaching staff. Is there are moments where but you can see it on the offense sometimes too. Like how often do we see going back through last year, timeouts unnecessarily, delay games, things that come in too late. They're doing this, that, and the other. How many times they got to let the defense make a substitution, which I understand is strategically what it is they're trying to do, but then we wait entirely too late to do that, where now it's getting in and it's affecting us and whether or not we'll be able to get the fucking snap ball.
Do you remember week 3? This is Jaden's coming out party, right? Against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's that final drive, and he is going, give me the play.
Yeah.
Give me the play. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like it really is sort of that moment. We can see that over and over and over again.
But see, that's the thing is like when I go back to having people recontextualize what happened last year, right? a lot of the things that we're complaining about right now are still some things that were happening last year. There's a lot of through line. It's just the injuries weren't there. The opponents were weaker, and we weren't in our own heads because we were playing with house money, right? So like there was a carelessness that came to it because we were like, shit, nobody expected us to be here. Let's just fucking go. That's what you need. Now they're like, we have something to lose. Totally different way of playing football, dog. Totally different way of playing football. Also good. Bobby Wagner, he would be the player of the All-22. It was dope seeing it. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, look, I think for the most part, what ends up happening and what ends up being something that now we're just going to conflate bad, good, whatever.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Anytime Philadelphia went empty, fucked. We're fucked. And the reason we're fucked, they start playing with where they're lining up the receivers. And now you have situations where you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith lined up across the line from a linebacker. It's over. Like, it's over. And guess what? Dallas is probably going to do it, too. Because they'd be stupid if they didn't. Turpin in space doing that shit, gonna fucking kill you. CeeDee Lamb in space doing that, gonna fucking kill you. And if you're worried about it, guess what's going to happen? George Pickett's going to beat your ass over the top. They run into these situations where you have linebackers kind of out there on islands because the secondary cannot play up to snuff the way they need to. I have a problem with every safety on the team. I'm going to put that out there. There's not a safety that we have had all season long that I felt good about. Not a one of you. I just haven't. Everybody was talking about Will Harris, and I've been kind of like, yeah, y'all been waiting for Will to come back.
I can confirm.
Yeah, it was like the only thing I did see, Will and Bobby communicate a lot.
See?
That's good. But beyond that, Quan Martin has had everybody in the secondary has had moments where I want to throw him off a fucking cliff. Mike Sanders still, I think it's now official. You're no longer a slot guy.
Official.
It's over. I think it's over. I think I'm done with that experiment. You play on the outside, and look, there are certain elements that I'm seeing over the last couple of weeks where it's like Mikey's starting to get back into the mode that he was kind of in. He's being more confident as far as crashing down on some of these routes in which you're seeing as far as him leaving the cushion. It hasn't looked as bad as it has in other times this season. It looks as though he's sort of making up for some of the stuff that he was losing out. And not to mention, you got to give him a shout out as far as being on teams and causing that fumble to begin the fucking game, right? So like Mikey's starting to come on a bit. And once again, like I'm saying, it feels as though he's gaining confidence and coming on the further he's away from being a slot fucking corner. Just get him out of there. He's not your nickel corner anymore. He's an outside corner. Let's move on.
Yeah. No, you know what? I get where you're coming from. I wouldn't close the book on it just yet and say official, but it's certainly trending that way. He has.
Why not?
Why would I not close the door? I think it would depend on if we are taking a corner round one, for example.
You got Trey Amos. It's Trey Amos.
Right. And so then it would be Trey. Right. Mm-hmm. And so then all of a sudden I do think it is Mikey. You are definitely the slot. Like you have to make this work. Why? That's what we drafted you to do.
Oh no, see, that's my thing is like I'm specifically of the idea that if Mikey continues to play on this trajectory that we saw from last year and what I'm seeing at the tail end of this year without him getting the mind hiccups of playing where he has been playing as far as the slot corner,
then you feel we have our corners.
I'm like Trey Amos, Mikey Sanders still. Let's work on who the third corner is. Let's get some depth and let's get some fucking safeties.
Okay.
I'm with that plan because I'm done with Marshawn Lattimore. So like
he's not coming back.
Right. So like so from that perspective, it's like, hey, Jonathan Jones, you might have had flashes. Anthony Hamilton, you might have had flashes. I need upgrades across the board to give us some
Antonio
depth.
Hamilton every single time.
I'm never gonna not do that. So like, it's like Ashton Gentry. I'm never gonna.
All right, you said you were gonna go through it quick. This is my bad. We're at minute 16 of this. Please continue.
Pass rush still a fucking problem. Yeah, man. And then you did what you didn't want to do in this game, which is that you let Saquon get to his point, which is like you knew it was probably going to happen at some point. But that fucking run, I don't know if you saw it, but there's a angle of the Saquon run that's making the rounds on Twitter from like way up on high. It makes you wish you were an Eagles fan so you could just post it for people and like clown them. I have never. That shit felt disrespectful. He has two runs near the end of the game that just feel, oh yeah, Saquon put his balls in your forehead. And it's like, yeah, I guess so.
He's a hell of a player if you allow him to be. I mean, and also just we're lacking those bodies in the interior as well. Eddie Goldman, that is an underrated out from last game. People don't typically say his name because he's not a Daron Payne or Devon Kinlaw. But boy, oh boy, you need those space eaters. And when you're missing one, those other guys get fatigued. And that's what happens in the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, special running backs become very special.
And that's what it comes down to. If you want to miss the tackles and do this bullshit, shoulder checks and all kinds of stuff against Saquon Barkley, Godspeed. You get your fucking soul eaten in front of you. Like, that's what ends up happening. And we held them so well throughout this game, to the point where you see even the rounds of Saquon yelling at the offensive lineman, and Jaylin had to get him away at one point, which is unheard of from the Saquon Barkley standpoint. Even though I'm not entirely sure what was being said. I'm not going to confer that I do know. But there was a frustration, clearly, that just got remedied over the course of the game, and that you can't let that happen. I mean, I guess we kind of knew, so offense, you got to score more points, but, like, at the end of the day, like, it's just everything's bad. And I think everyone knew the writing was on the wall. As soon as Josh Johnson came in and threw one of the worst pick that any commander has thrown this season, I don't know what he saw on that. Like, I do not have any earthly idea what the fuck he saw with that. Just easy. Like, after that, I think everyone knew, oh, it's over. Yeah. And I don't blame them at that point, honestly.
Oh, we all knew. When you get to your third string quarterback, you're not hoping to win the game. It is the season, but like, it's not in the cards there. No. Any final thoughts over here, KDot, before we shift over to the game preview?
No, man, as much as I love football and I love watching the Commanders, and like, I don't want the season to end, it's getting tough, man. It's like you just kind of want this finish line. You just want them to kind of come back renewed next year. But I'm not going to lie to you and not say that, like, when I watch this shit, when I'm starting to see some of these things pull up, if you're on Twitter long enough and the goddamn algorithm knows what it's doing, I can understand from a fan base perspective. I had the first time in the last 2 years it finally sunk into me. Did we get the wrong guys? And, like, I don't love that. And I know some of that's the PTSD and just being a Commanders fan, but, like, I don't like that feeling has finally come to me. I'm not there yet mentally, like, logically, I'm not there at all, but I will say for the first time I had the fleeting thought.
I'd have to think about this more. If I am landing on, did we get the wrong guys, or are we not developing the players? I'm on the latter and think we actually do draft well. Just because I do see a number of our players go elsewhere and do pretty damn well. So anyway, that's a deeper discussion. We'll have it in the offseason as well. Sure. We're going to do all sorts of stuff in the offseason, including diving into some numbers. I was talking to KDot about this as well. What the successful teams are doing, how they're building. We'll look into that and what we can do as well. And so this was the All-22 review featuring our very own KDot.
No outro.
And with that, we go right to the Christmas game against the Dallas Cowboys. It is Dallas week. It's a short week entering Dallas week. Once again, 1 p.m. on Netflix tomorrow. Tomorrow. Jeez. Make sure you got your gifts, guys. And with that, we go ahead and begin this preview with the context in the form of the injury report. Thank you, KDot, over here. So as you can see, the Monday one is just a walkthrough. So you see a bunch of DNPs, but as it turns out on Tuesday, they all matched, and we dropped a couple people on IR, Eddie Goldman and Jaylin Lane, and today Sam Cosmi as well. So the bodies just keep piling up. Yeah. Nick Allegretti and Andrew Wiley will be rotating there. So the bodies just keep piling up for our Washington Commanders. Nick Bellore, special team standout, not practicing. Marcus Mariota already ruled out. Will be Josh Johnson starting at quarterback. Jeff Driscoll has been signed. Daron Payne not trending in the right direction. Why would he play, honestly? Laremy Tunsil, same thing. Jaden, we know, is done for the season. Let's go ahead and look at the Dallas Cowboys, which is a long list over here. Flournoy, who has been coming on recently for them from limited to not practicing. We'll see what his status is for this game. Guyton, Overshown, both not practicing. Overshown, a welcomed return for him, but now with the concussion looking unlikely to play. It looks like too quick a turnaround, but we shall see. And Guyton looks like he's not going to play. A whole bunch of limiteds and fulls. And with that, we go over to our Washington Commanders offense, featuring, once again, Josh Johnson with Jeff Driscoll as the backup. Sam Hartman remains the emergency third quarterback against this Dallas Cowboys defense, which is quite vulnerable, KDot. So over here, what are you looking to see? I've stopped using the word exploit.
Goddamn right. You better stop using that fucking word. What do I see?
Yeah.
I see a team that we lost to 44-22 last time. I have no reason to believe it won't be worse. Is that fair?
That's totally fair. Point spread 7.5. I told you I was shocked.
Right. So yeah, dog. It's not. Okay.
You want me to quickly burn through reasons for optimism and then throw it back to you?
You got those?
I do.
I mean, running the football, but will they?
Running the football, passing to running backs, passing to wide receivers.
I think we said all this last game.
No, we actually didn't. They weren't this bad just yet. Oh. Yeah. No. So they were bad. They weren't this bad. So they give up 4.5 yards a carry. They also give up 9.1 yards per reception to running backs. They are second worst in the league to running backs in terms of receptions and reception yards and yards per reception, and reception touchdowns, I think, are quite bad. Wide receivers in particular feast against the Dallas Cowboys, right? 26 touchdowns allowed by the Dallas Cowboys to wide receivers. The next closest is 20. All the receiving yards, the Dallas Cowboys are the ones giving it up. They are worse than the NFL against that. That's it. Go ahead, KDot. It's a very bad defense from that perspective.
Fucking the entire time you were saying all that, I was thinking Josh Johnson's got to do that.
Exactly. So that's the problem.
So I ask you again, where's the optimism?
In those numbers, if he can play up to a certain standard, that's it.
Everything has a poison pill. It's basically what it kind of boils down to. And it's well,
maybe Jeff Driscoll comes in. People liked him in the preseason last year.
Look, man, if they want to do if we want to run the ball 40, 50 times this game, I'm all for it. I don't think anybody necessarily is going to be excited by that. I think we get into this territory right now where I'm sort of I just want to try shit. I just want to try shit. Hey, Moody, can you kick a 63-yard field goal? Not sure. Want to try. Tress Way, how's your arm? Fake punt? If we lose 63 to no, it's Christmas. That would ruin it. Damn. I don't have a lot of good feelings about all this. I would say that if we do want to play with a certain mentality, I don't know what Josh Johnson's necessarily playing for. It's not like he's trying to play to earn a starting spot somewhere. I can't say, hey, we'll look towards the youth movement. They don't do that. Yeah, I guess run the ball. Maybe Bill has a good game. Throw the ball to Bill out of the backfield. Maybe he has a good game. Take your shots to Terry. Maybe we can make this thing a shootout and make it fun. I saw Josh Johnson throw the football last week. Didn't love it. Or not even last, a few days ago. Didn't love it. Maybe with a few days of rest, he's going to be all good to go. Although Jaden Daniels eats into the reps in practice, right? So, I don't know. It's what the fuck? I just want it to be over.
I'll be a little more optimistic than that. The Philadelphia Eagles defense is awesome, right? And Josh Johnson suddenly thrown into a situation he was not expecting to be thrown into, because each time Marcus Mariota's played a game, he's finished the game. So all of a sudden for him to come up limp, and then Josh Johnson's suddenly in there against this really stout Philadelphia Eagles defense, of course it's going to be difficult. Yeah, I can't explain the pick. I can't. But now he does at least get a day of practice, which is one more day than he's basically ever gotten. Right. And he goes against a Cowboys defense that the last time we played him, Chris Moore was wide receiver 1. Right. So now Debo's there. Now Terry's there. They'll be able to get separation. They didn't play against them last time. Josh should be able to hit a couple intermediate throws. I'm not asking for the deep ball, but intermediate to shorts, I think will be available to him, particularly that running back reception stat. Because those little swing dump offs, hey, nothing's open for me, or I don't feel confident in that throw downfield, that is open to you. They will give you that, right? Now, they may try and press a little bit and blitz and see how Josh Johnson handles that. But if he's able to quickly, and this is where Cliff needs to help him, right? Quickly dump something off. Okay, we can get a little bit of momentum against these guys. We're not playing Philly again, right? And he knows he's the starter this time. So there is some reason for optimism, Kate, at least in my view. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying that the context for this, I have more hope than I certainly did the last time, he came out under those circumstances.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just not there. Yeah, Dallas's defense has sucked. Look, NFC East fuckery, there's no telling, right? Like, you look at the Philadelphia Eagles game all the way through the first shit, all the way to the fourth quarter, it looked like we still had a chance of like stealing this thing from them, right? This particular game, I look at where it is that we played when we played them last time. I look at the fact that Jayden was in that game. I look at the fact that the defense was healthier than they even are right now. The offense was, everybody was healthier than they are right now, right? I don't see a lot of recipes for success. And I also say that, like, Dan Quinn and what our defense has been able to do recently, which is the, hey, we're gonna play zone, and we're gonna hope the pass rush gets there, and we know we got to bend but don't break, and what's gonna happen when we get to the red zone. I don't see them having to use the red zone in this particular game if you get CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens to get started, and if they're gonna be able to start eating up or tearing up the secondary. Sorry, I know that I'm talking about the other side of the football when it comes to but it's hard for me not to. The reason I get into that is that, like, the idea for me that we're going to stay running the football and playing that time possession sort of thing throughout the entire game. I'd like to see it. I just don't think we will. I think that if their offense starts scoring and makes us one dimensional, it's over quick. Like, if you're down by 10 and you can't run the ball the same way that you have been, and that's where I'm looking at, is I don't see a situation in which you have this team that's not down, except to, like, start this game. And if that's going to be the case, then that game plan kind of goes away. And if I've got to trust Josh Johnson to sit back there and make these decisions when they're just going to sit back there and say, okay, do it, I don't trust us to do it. Like, I like Terry McLaurin against Dallas. I know that. Maybe he'll have something. Only reason I feel any confidence is that every week I play Madden against the opponent that we play. And I did beat them with Josh Johnson in overtime. Shout out to Jake Moody. And shout out to Von Miller with an interception in overtime.
Oh, how cool would that be?
It was dope. Yeah, man, I know I'm conflating both things. I think after this Eagles game, and I think after, like, I was still watching the All-22 tape this morning. Which is not something I usually do before I watch an episode. And it's just, it doesn't leave me feeling entirely too confident that offensively we're going to stick to what it is we need to stick to, and that we won't get into a position real quick in which we become one-dimensional, and I don't trust Josh Johnson to do it. But once again, the only thing that is ever up for that leaves anything possible is NFC East fuckery, which is always afoot, especially if we're talking about a Christmas Day game.
Right. Now, they do have Kenny Clark. They do have Quinn Williams. Don't be surprised if these guys do stop the run, right? They're like Josh Johnson's in a quarterback, right? So we're going to make sure that we plug up the holes. We're going to invest our resources there. And if Josh Johnson can beat it, it's basically the same thing they did in the first game where they were just like, no receivers? Cool. We're going to blitz and we're just going to see if any of these receivers can beat our guys. Right, it's going to be pretty similar in terms of can Josh be the one that beats us? Like, the receivers may win, but can Josh actually deliver the football properly? They'll find out probably on that first drive. That's going to be super telling for the whole game. If we have a successful first drive, then it becomes a chess game. But if we don't have one, I think their defense is set for the game, and we need to make an adjustment.
I think when you got a third-string quarterback, success on a first drive is not indicative of the fact that it's going to remain successful.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's go ahead and flip the script.
I'm sorry. I know I'm not that usually this negative.
No. It's been a long season.
Bah humbug.
And given my delirious state, maybe I'm being too optimistic right now. Let's go ahead and I'm just giving reasons for optimism. By the way,
I get it. I don't know. Look, I'm already fucking talking about the other side of the fucking football just to make sense of how depressed I feel about this shit.
Yeah. With that, let's go ahead and do that. Let's continue talking about this Commanders defense against a highly potent Cowboys offense, featuring Dak Prescott, featuring CeeDee Lamb, featuring George Pickens, featuring a rejuvenated Javonte Williams, featuring Ryan Flournoy. No one knew who that was until 3 weeks ago. Maybe Cowboys fans did, but nobody else did. All of a sudden, he's got 100 yards and a touchdown. Like, these guys are explosive. There's Jake Ferguson. Like, these guys have household names. These guys are able to put up points on anybody. This is a team that beat the Chiefs and the Eagles in the span of, 4 days, something like that. Like, I mean, they have it in them to be able to put points on anybody and beat anybody. So they get a Commanders defense that's wounded. KDot on this side of the ball. What do you see?
Payne.
No, he's out.
Daron Payne.
Yeah.
After seeing what the Eagles did and knowing what the Eagles do, and remember, one of my complaints about the Eagles, and you can even see in this game, is that they are disjointed offensively. They don't necessarily have the game plan or know exactly what it is they want to do in each game. They just have talent that kind of supersedes all these other kind of things. Brian Schottenheimer's a little different in the sense of the way that they're going to go about it, and I do think this particular team is just, from what I've seen with this defense, just designed to give us fucking fits. Look, I want to sell out against a run, make sure Javonte Williams is the guy that beats us, but I also know that if I sell out against a run and leave my guys out there to let George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb, because if I'm Dallas, I probably try both angles and just see kind of what happens. Like, I'm going to try to run the balls to see if it's possible against these guys, and if that runs into any issues, I'm going to start airing it the fuck out. And if they want to drop guys in coverage and they want to play zone shit, then I'm going to let Zach Prescott start eating up some of the shit in the vacated spaces. I don't love this matchup as far as the way that we've been playing defense. Like, once again, NFC East fuckery is the only thing that keeps me engaged in the sense of, like, hey, maybe they'll be able to get some pressure on Dak, but I haven't seen them being able to do that against some teams that are even easier to do that against. Yeah, this side of the football, it's it's a pick your poison sort of thing, but I do think this, like, bend but don't break it, and hopefully you can play well in the red zone. I still go back to, from a tight end standpoint, the safeties and the linebackers. What are you going to do against Jake Ferguson if he does the chip and release bullshit? And if they start rolling out what they didn't do in this last game against us, but once again, what I saw Philadelphia do, I'm wondering why Brian Schottenheimer's not installing this even in this short week. If they go empty, and they start lining up CD and George Pickens against some of these other guys that are in certain zones in which you got linebackers or safeties in, don't love it.
Look, I'll keep it a buck with you guys. I just don't think we have the resources to stop these guys, right? Like, you can go to that whiteboard. I pointed the right way. Nice. You can go to that whiteboard and draw up whatever you want to. This is just, they're better than us right now because we don't have our usual guys, right? So it's just going to be a tall task for anybody. Like, we can dedicate our defensive line and our linebackers to stopping the run. Then you're leaving corners on an island with George, with CD, and now Ryan, who right now is playing very confidently, right? So it's to me too much. I would be so pleasantly surprised if this defense is able to step up and hold these guys to 24 points, honestly. Like, I think that would be a really nice performance from our defense. If the final score is Dallas 24, us whatever, like, that is a nice performance from our defense, because the interior of that line, right? We talked about it. Eddie Goldman now on IR. So he's done for the year. Daron Payne not going to play. Shit, right? Like, so now it's Javon Kinlaw. It's Shea Tuttle, who we just picked up. Like, is now probably going to play a whole lot, right? Like, it's just... that is a lot to figure out on a short week. We don't even have a full week, right? So we're duct taping this whole thing together. So I'll say this, what I'm intrigued by, right? I am intrigued to see how our corners do against these wide receivers. I'm curious to see more Jordan McGee now that he apparently has Dan Quinn's attention. A direct quote there, right? Like, I want to see, do we finally play some of the younger guys? Ben Sinnott, back to the other side of the ball for the moment, outsnapped John Bates last week. Cool. Do it again. And let's do some of that on defense as well, right? Like, just up the snaps a little bit. What'd you say?
Throw him the ball.
Yeah. And so, like, throw him the ball. True. So Mikey Sanders still, whomever he's on, I want him to be on George just because I want to see that matchup, right? Each time I've seen George Pickens against us, he's done something spectacular. He had the catch with Pittsburgh where he, like, it's an acrobatic catch at SportsCenter top 10. It was the number one play that week. Mm-hmm. Then against us in that 2-minute drill, he has that catch over Marshawn Lattimore. Then Javonte Williams has the run. Then the 1st and goal touchdown, I think it was to Jake Ferguson. Like lightning, right? Can someone shut up George Pickens? Right? We're back into pride. We're back into fighting. We're back into, does Mikey still have the juice he had from last week? I like that. If you get burned now and then, that's fine. But I need someone that's going to make everyone around them better. I need a leader to develop. Who's that going to be? I think Mikey can be that, right? Can Jordan be that in this type of spot? Dallas still means something, right? Like, and it is a short week for them to come over here to play us. So I want to see who steps up for us, because from a full 11's standpoint, I think it's too much, but who can win some individual matchups? That's what I'm curious about, KDot.
Okay. I'll engage in your positivity for a second.
I did not think this is what I was going to do, by the way.
No. I didn't mention somebody in the All-22 that I should have mentioned, because I still don't know who. He still doesn't exist to me. Drake Jackson put together some pretty good tape.
I told you. I was reading about him.
He looked good against Jordan Mailata.
Former second-round pick.
How do you pronounce the name? Mailata?
Jordan Mailata.
Mailata. Right.
Mailata.
I don't want to pronounce the name
Mailman.
because I'm starting to really like him based on Hard Knocks.
He's a likable dude for sure.
A
lot of these people are likable, just to be clear. It's sports, man.
Lane Johnson's beard's awesome.
Hate him within the lines. That's it.
Yeah, right. If Drake Jackson can win one-on-one, and if they queue up something they have been doing recently that they got away from because it was end up being it wasn't good for anybody. But now that Jordan McGee's out there on the field and he makes up for a little bit of deficiencies from a physicality standpoint in coverage that Bobby does, I think it's about time we brought back that Bobby Wagner blitz. I do think that we need to start dialing up some shit in this game. Take some chances, man. I don't want to play it safe in this one. I want them to take some chances. I want to see some guys come from some exotic places and start trying to put some pressure on Dak. I want to hit Dak. I want to see Will Harris coming down the fucking blitz. I want to see Quan Martin coming down the blitz. I want to see them come and get after this quarterback. Fuck relying on the front four. They're not going to do it unless Drake Jackson just decides to play out of his fucking mind. And if they do that, they'll probably move the cover and they'll move Jake Ferguson or somebody over to him to try to offset that. I think we got to bring some shit.
I have a question, KDot. If Drake Jackson plays out of his mind, right? Like, let's say over the next 2 weeks, because let's say the Eagles rest starters, they're locked into the 3 seed next week. And against the Cowboys, he has 2 sacks, and against the Eagles, he has 3 sacks. Let's say crazy, right? We're living in dream world right now for a moment. Would that be enough for you to go, oh, we have an edge rusher?
No.
And we can. I was just curious.
No,
I was just curious.
Absolutely not. And that's with me loving what Dorrance Armstrong put on tape. That's me loving what I've seen Jacob Martin do over the course of the season. Absolutely not. There's not any positions on this team outside of now. There's no positions on this team that you can't upgrade. Technically,
Quarterback.
Whether or not I put there is no position on this team that you can't upgrade.
That's crazy.
Whether or not you do it is a whole other thing. I'm sorry, motherfucker, but if Joe Burrow's available, I think there's a conversation. So, like, I know for you.
That should be an episode, by the way.
Feel free, fucker. Like, you do whatever
we
you
very
want.
rarely clickbait people. Let's do it.
I'm just saying, everybody, there's at least a conversation to happen. Whether or not you come down on the conversation, yes or no. Would I make a change at quarterback? No. Would I make significant changes as far as the offensive line? Except for depth, probably not. Maybe you upgrade something as far as the interior of the offensive line, but I want to leave our tackles the way they are. Wide receiver. Do I want to spend a lot of money as far as wide receiver goes? No, I kind of like what we have in the room. And the same way you look at like a Drake Jackson, the same way you can look at like a Traylon Burks, right? Maybe they found a good home, and maybe they'll be healthy enough that they can kind of stick through it. Maybe we have some interesting pieces, but definitely not something that you're looking at and saying these are cornerstones of a fucking franchise. Absolutely not. You upgrade everywhere, guys. Like that's why we go like when you guys want to talk about draft, and it is best player available to me. Like except for once again. Maybe tackle, quarterback. I don't want to put any draft stock in them from quarterback, but everybody else, man, you can get better.
Alrighty. Any final thoughts here before?
Am I like?
No, I don't disagree with you. Just to be clear, I was just stirring the pot a little bit. Any final thoughts here before we move to the predictions?
What's gonna be interesting is when Joe Burrow goes to Philly and Jalen Hurts is available.
That is my fear, man. That is my fear. Although now the Jets are starting to make a whole lot of sense. We'll talk about this. Let's go to the predictions. Where we are 4-11 now.
Yeah.
Oh. Yep. Dallas, as you can see, 6-8-1. See, I didn't even need to look it up because KDot's got it right there for you, which we thoroughly appreciate. The point spread. Dallas are road favorites by 8.5 points. The line is starting to make sense. It was 7.5 when we started recording. It is now 8.5. So KDot, from you, I need a score. I need a winner. I need a player of the game.
24-17 Washington. No, I'm joking. So
It's smart though, because now if it does happen, I'll just quickly clip that. Be like, see, told you.
I kind of like the Philly game. Do I think we can win this game? Yeah. I think that any one of these games going down the stretch you can win because of NFC East fuckery. Maybe Dallas comes out and just shits the bed. I do think there's an element of this game in which I think Dallas might not give a fuck. I think Dallas doesn't give a fuck quicker than we don't give a fuck. I'll throw that out there like that. The talent is clearly one-sided compared to the other as far as at least certain position groups. 31-23 Dallas, player of the game, CeeDee Lamb.
Okay. To me, there is no more dangerous team than the Dallas Cowboys when they have nothing to play for. When the pressure's off, these guys just light up all of a sudden. It just inspires hope when there's none to be found anyway, right? There's no real possibility of any.
The least amount of sense.
What'd you say?
They do the thing that makes the least amount of sense. Which
means they're going to turn up. So I've got Dallas 34, Washington 17. I still think that this line is going to continue to grow. Don't always give gambling advice, but KDot and I were both shocked by this line. We have a third-string quarterback who could end up doing great. We mentioned the stats to you. But it is a third-string quarterback on a short week against a Cowboys offense that now that the pressure's off, they can just play free. Who cares? You're going to see Dak take some chances against the suspect secondary, unfortunately, and we don't have the horses up front to be able to stop the run consistently. This could be a long day, so it's on our offense to keep up and play ball control to help that defense out. Can they do it? Got my reservations. Player of the game over here. Unfortunately, it's going to be Javonte Williams for me. I picked Saquon last week, and it's a lot to do with our lack of interior, not so much the running back themselves, right? Like, even in that case, as special as Saquon is, I was just like, we don't got the guys up front. That's it. Like, that's what it is. And the same thing is true this week. And so I think Javonte just ends up controlling the game. Dak makes a couple throws. He could even have 3 touchdowns, but I think Javonte has 100 yards and a touchdown. That would be my player of the game. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
all right.
Fuck me, man.
And with that, we go to the comment mailbag.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, because I listened to the episode. We just go straight to the comment mailbag. No, we're just done with Nikki. Oh, sweet. We go to the comment mailbag featuring a new intro.
You're watching District Divided. Coming up next, it's the Comment Mailbag, brought to you by Heckinger, Murray's, your neighborhood food store, and People's Drug. Stay tuned.
What's up? I'm KDot, and I'm bringing the energy straight to your living room with my new VHS Total Body Blast. We're talking step moves, band squats, everything to get you moving and feeling good. Call the number on the screen, grab your copy for just $19.99.
Tonight at 10, Clarendon is on edge as a man calling himself the A-Train tears through the nightlife district. Police say he's intoxicated, violent, and nowhere near slowing down. Neighbors are being told to hide your wives, hide your kids, and yes, hide your coke.
Share this. And now the District Divided Comment Mailbag.
Really? All right. Let's just get this started. Clever. I'll give you that. Creative. Give you that too. You know what? Holiday season. Good job, KDot. Let's go ahead and go to the comment mailbag over here. I actually did enjoy that. Let's see. We got quite a few. How about Big Javi with 3 thumbs up here and 2 thumbs up to begin his comment going for never hearing Nikki's comment mailbag intro ever again.
It's over.
People love the decision there, KDot. So well done to
That's
you.
A one-off.
What's a one-off?
That one.
Okay. Cool.
Well,
so
we don't wear the jerseys again, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, see, this is all part of the throwback motif. The next time you'll see something legitimate is when we do the entire reshuffle for next season and some new looks.
We'll begin this one with Martin Collins going, referees had a lot of consequences this weekend, us and especially the Steelers-Lions game. Sunday night as well. I hope Amit is okay. Appreciate the concern there. I told KDot, unfortunately, I had a, battle with a bug, a fever that went a little too high for my liking. But KDot carried the show, which was awesome. And once again, thoroughly appreciate that, KDot. Still a little bit delirious, but overall fine. So I appreciate your concern, Martin.
It is an illness.
Be back.
You do have to admit it. That's one of the first.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. To which Martin Collins goes, haha, LOL. Okay. And that was actually in reference to you. First time we've ever gotten a comment from the future. Shout out Martin Collins for that one. And here's Martin Collins with another. Can we call Taylor Heineke? At least he has experience with Terry. I'm not going to lie. When I read that, I was like, sign me the fuck up. That would be awesome. We talk about a Christmas gift for the fans. Just Taylor chucking the football, just bringing a little bit of passion back to DC. It would just be fun.
I think it would be horrific.
Do you think it would be horrific?
I trust me. I love Taylor Heineke. I just don't think it would be good. When's the last time he played?
I think it's been a while.
Phillip Rivers situation.
Okay, I was about to go there.
Don't do that.
But hey, Taylor already has chemistry with Terry.
Phillip Rivers before he retired. Like he was still Phillip Rivers.
Would you rather have Josh Johnson or Taylor Heineke for this game?
Oh, just from an entertainment standpoint, easily Taylor.
Right, from an entertainment standpoint, and now from a winning standpoint,
Josh Johnson.
And how close are their percentages for winning the game?
Oh, they're both pretty low. But I also think Jeff Driscoll probably has a better chance than both of them. And then...
So I guess my question is, when balancing, because we're 4-11, entertainment plus win percentage.
Neither of them are top pick, though.
Who's your top pick? Don't. Jeez, I walked right into that. God damn it. I just knew it.
He's our vibes guy, man. Like, there's a reason you gotta have these moments so that people stop asking questions. You're only there to keep the vibes right. But if you can't,
he is the vibes guy.
Right, I know. But if you can't play at all in these sort of situations, it gets really, really hard to keep.
Okay, actually, you know what? That does lead to a deeper discussion, though. Why the heck can't he be the backup?
Because he fucking was terrible in preseason.
I'm aware. Right, but like
bad.
Okay, it's also been Lord knows how many weeks, right? Like,
I'm sorry,
actually, we do know. Lord knows we know how many weeks.
There's not been a single video I have seen out of Ashburn, not one, in which Sam Hartman looks like he's taking anything seriously,
or reps.
So, like, my thing is, like, it's probably worse. But once again, he's our, what is it, Theonis. He's just here.
Our Thanasis.
Thanasis, my bad.
Call him Theonis.
Theonis.
We got Giannis and Theonis.
Yeah, what the fuck? Ashton Gentry, fucking, no, yeah.
We got Theonis and Ganassis over there.
And Anthony Hamilton, just carrying up the fucking rear.
Oh, we got a Martin Collins again with a couple over here. Though I'm an Orioles and National Senator fan, LOL. So that's the baseball fandom over there. Referees had a lot of consequences this weekend. Now we read that one. Mm-hmm. Our silver lining to a hard loss is to see who is who. I'm with you. I want to beat Dallas and Philly. I believe we're both on the same page there, KDot. Win the games.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I want to win because I want to teach these guys how to win. The thing is, and I still go back. All right, the youth movement thing, which I know everybody's kind of pissed off about. Last year, when it came to like Jayden and everybody, remember they always said very early on, no one just gets it. You don't get you got to earn the right to play anywhere on the field, right? Like, is it wrong that they're maintaining that? It seems. Like that, like to me, is like there's certain things that I think that aren't necessarily being put into context. I'm of an idea that I've seen some of these guys play where I just think there might be an upgrade, but maybe that's on the practice field. They're just not earning it, right? Because that was the thing was like Jayden Daniels. It was like, no, we're not handing him the keys to anything if he's going to be it, just because he's the best guy out there. I do think there's just a chance, and if that's the case, it fucking sucks that these guys haven't developed to this degree. But like I understand having the mentality that like you're not gonna get to play unless you show us that unless you show it or prove it, or you earn it behind the scenes to do so. I just think you get to a point where you say, "Fuck it, I just want to see some of these guys fucking play." But I also want, is it something that I should actually respect?
So, year one. And hand up, I fell for this. I picked the Commanders to win the Super Bowl. Okay? I fell for this. I believe that the organization believed the culture was established after 1 year, right? That we already had it, right? Because a lot of the moves were cornerstone left tackle, physical wide receiver, interior lineman, Javon Kinlaw, right? Year two, Jayden, here we go. Right. And there is a little bit of precedent around having an excellent quarterback entering year two right, that can go to a Super Bowl, right? Or year two starters. There are a number of year two starters that go to the Super Bowl. So I understand, but also if I now look at a number of these successful long-term orgs, right? Or long-term successful orgs. Let me put it in the right order there. They do play their younger guys, right, around a bunch of veterans, right? And I can see that we've done that with Mikey, for example. We do that a bit with Johnny. So it's not to say we don't do it at all. It's just that when you do finally get eliminated from playoff contention, I think it's okay to do it more, just to get more info for the following season and to also see if they develop. Well, kind of. Like, I want to see.
It's not ideal, but they're definitely trending in that direction.
I would like to see. Okay, so for example, Tyler Owens gets 1 snap on defense. Can we get that to 5?
I could see. I'm not denying what it is you're saying. I think that I'm just going back. So just the crux of my question is, if they keep the mentality that playing like a commander means that in order to see playing time, you have to earn it through your practice, you have to earn it in the meeting rooms, you got to earn it through all this, and the young guys haven't earned it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that matter?
Oh, and I would respond by saying, if I'm a player, I'm asking, hey, if it's 4th and 2, are we going for it or are we kicking a field goal here?
Love that. I'm not denying that. So, like, there is this. I just don't think
no one knows anything. That's the thing. There's no set. It doesn't feel like we're rowing in the same direction. I felt like I knew who we were last season. It seems like a totally different idea this season. So if I'm a player, I don't really know what the heck's going on, right? Like,
so this is where I push back on all of it, but then it makes me feel like an egotistical prick. But I'm going to say it.
Fine, go for it.
I feel like I'm the only one that knows who this fucking team is.
Who's
I feel like I'm the only one that knows that this team is just not quite talented enough, but are trending in the right direction, which is that they still have a lot of players that they need to add, a lot of things they need to build to get to a point of contention. What I think is happening is that no one knows what the fuck they are, and I think it's fucking with everybody's brain. The same way that I look at and say that, like, I give you shit for picking them to go to the Super Bowl, which I thought was dumb, right? Yeah. But it's the same way that I can say that, like, I do think that the team sort of thought the same thing that you thought. And I'm looking at all of you like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like that's my thing. Is like, and I get it. If you came with the expectation and you built it all around that this is who you're going to be, I understand the expectations and who it is who's going to play and who it is not going to play is going to look a little different in where it is you are in your process. I think the process of knowing that, like, you're rebuilding or recalibrating, whatever fucking word they want to use, and knowing that you have like 3 to 5 year window, your development, the way that you go about things is going to look a little different than what you do otherwise. The other thing I push back on that I will say as far as the years 2 success story stuff, I don't know this offhand, but I would say that at least from what I remember or I recall for these teams, I'm sure there are exceptions to this, majority of those teams that have like the year 2 quarterbacks are quarterbacks that usually got picked. If they got picked high in the first round, it was usually because you had a team that dealt with a lot of injuries or at least an injury to a main guy that year prior, which you had a team that was probably a playoff contending team that get brought down because of an injury. They luck into a guy because they had the one bad year of getting maybe who had upper echelon talent or getting somebody who might have been in the bottom of the first round, but they're a team that's further ahead than we are. You don't have teams that do what it is that we did, which is year 1 of a rebuild, end up in an NFC championship game. Broke everybody's brain because it shouldn't have happened, right? So, like, the end of the day, my thing is that you don't go off of the NFC championship game. You go off of where are we from a talent perspective. I've always been of the idea that we're not that talented. I don't think that everybody else was of that idea. And if that's the case, there's a way of going about it that's just different than the way that I would say is like you're going to slow roll or slow build the way that you're going about doing this. And you're looking at everything from a long-term perspective. And if I'm looking at everything from a long-term perspective, I understand saying no, in order to play, you have to earn it. Is it frustrate me because I'm curious? Yes. Does it frustrate me because I'm like, is this the best we have? Is this really the best we have? Like, that's frustrating because I look at these veterans and I'm like, why the fuck are you vets making these stupid mistakes?
Okay. So the one exception that I can think of is Joe Burrow, right? So that's the only one. And then the other element of what you were saying in terms of talent, right? So you do not believe that we're that talented, but we're trending in the right direction. And I think that we have more talent than people think, but I do question our coaching staff's ability to develop young players. Now, that being said, I am not saying I am team fire Dan Quinn. I am not.
Oh,
I
yeah,
want
yeah,
him back next year.
Yeah.
I just want to make that very clear. However, I do think that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn need to do a better job of being on the same page in terms of the traits. We heard it in the intro pressers. The traits that they want players to be able to play fast and not think, right? Because they know exactly what they need to do. If I see young players out there that are making tons of mistakes over and over and over again, that's one thing. To not even see them out there, I do question it, right? So like that is some Benson, it's a prime example. Each time his name is called, he seems to do something, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. It makes me question the other stuff. This is the same staff that let go of Emmanuel Forbes. Yes, that is one of many that did, or I'm sorry, one that worked out, many did not, that got released. Okay. But that's a round one corner. You got to be a little more careful releasing a round one corner, right? Because it doesn't look great when he's playing as well as he is for LA. Yes, he gets burned sometimes. Corners get burned sometimes. But like, that's someone that maybe could have been useful if we were a little more patient. I don't know. Or maybe it just was a bad fit. I don't know. But it's just, there's some stuff that needs to be worked on.
Forbes needed to change.
Probably.
Look, the reason Quinn and Peters catch shit from me is not knowing your team. Am I frustrated that Ben Simmons not getting more playtime? Yes. But remember, like, a lot of time I always start back to, like, I'm really curious what's happening behind the scenes as far as him and the development thing. Same reason that, like, when I saw him with Zach Ertz in the meeting room when Hard Knocks, and I was like, this feels like it's the first time this has happened, when the way that they're communicating bothered me. So, like, they're...
Sorry, my eyes lit up because, by the way, this could be a Ben Sinnott week in that last week he went against the toughest, and by a country mile, the toughest team to play against when it comes to tight end production. Like the Eagles are like 2 standard deviations above everybody. They are phenomenal against tight ends. The Dallas Cowboys, closer to middle of the pack, maybe even allow a little bit more than average. Like this is a huge opportunity for him because a quarterback's best friend, especially a backup or third stringer, is typically the tight end. Like this could be the moment, man.
Every week I do 25 yards, 2 receptions, touchdown for Ben.
This one may actually hit.
Shit, Lille was gonna fucking hit you last week.
If it's gonna hit any week, it's this one.
I think that I'm just of the idea. What's hard for me to reconcile with everything, and the reason I'm giving people bail, but I'm also very angry and upset at everybody at the same time, is that I just hate that I hate that everybody's in their head because they thought that they were something they weren't, and I feel like everybody's reacting and acting that way. And I'm just sort of the idea that, like, you guys need to know what it is you have better than you do.
Martin Collins goes, your take on fans is so true and hilarious. I'm with you, KDot. Hating that the season's end is near. In AP, I trust. Looking ahead to the offseason with that comment. And then KDot, I'm with you in the running game. What the fuck? Why stop until they stop you? We really had a chance to win? Had we gone up 7-0, right? It's 2nd and goal at the 2. And we see it's just working with C-Rod. We give him another carry and let's say he scores. Right? It's 7-0. Do you think the outcome of the game changes?
No, I think we lose this game regardless. But and because my follow-up would be, does Marcus get hurt? like are we saying Marcus get? Because if Marcus gets hurt, it's over. But it's they kept it too close. I still think we lose this game. I still think we lose this last game. I
think it turns into a coin flip.
I think it's close. I think it's closer than this. Yeah.
So I would legitimately say at 7-0 and we get the ball to receive the second half. Mm-hmm. This is heads or tails. So I would say
I still think Saquon gets there.
Sure. But at 7-0, you can now protect Marcus more. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it takes one bad Eagles drive, you get the ball back, and now all of a sudden entire playbooks available to you. You already know the run works. They already might invest on the run. Like there's
100%. That's why we keep talking about running the football, especially with the defense being the way it is. It's the best way to play complementary football, right? It's the best thing to do. It insulates the quarterback. It keeps the time possession thing going. It keeps the game close, especially with a team that can score whenever the fuck it is they want to, and especially when you got a team that's struggling offensively at times. Yeah, I get it. But there's you're living on the margins.
Yeah, it was such a golden opportunity. As Jamal Bibishar-Bonwi goes, as a fan, that first drive ending in a field goal felt so demoralizing. Can't imagine how the players felt. Coaching should also be about knowing how the decisions you make affect the morale of your players. Was DQ playing to win the so-called division tournament or making sure he wouldn't get shut out? Good show, KDot. Fast and to all points in the game. KDot, reaction to that?
That's where I go to. I think it's all. That's where I look, and I'm looking at everybody, and I'm saying there's confusion about who it is we are and what it is we're doing, and that to me is the thing that I'm most pissed off about. I think I saw the first. You're the one that illuminated me. The first red flag to me was the first red flag is the Marshon Lattimore trade. We are something. We might be ahead of where it is that we really are. That to me is the first. That's to me is the first sign. They're like, hey, they think they're right there. Now, don't get me wrong. If Marshon Lattimore is a Pro Bowl All-Pro when he gets here, does the NFC Championship game different? Probably not. But like, do you got a better shot? And like, you take those opportunities when you get it. You don't know when you're going to get back in there, right? But the idea that you even make any plans thinking you're going to be in the NFC Championship game at all, I still look towards the long term. Like, that's just me.
No, listen, totally fair. And now looking back, you were clearly correct, right? Like, that's what should have happened.
Yeah, but I'm correct in a way I don't want to be fucking correct. Because like
that's fine, but you were. And also, I mean, I still think a lot of the moves made sense. I think just the expectations that came with the moves, right? That, I'm guilty over here. I set them. Helped set them. Many people did.
Screaming at everybody. It's like this.
We got Rio saying Jaden's MVP. Like we've got all sorts of stuff.
Jesus Christ.
We go to Neb's Terrify with, take KDot ad. Why doesn't every team just spread this defense out and empty and just quick game / zone beater them to death? This front four left to get a gallon of milk and will never get home. KDot, tend to believe you're going to agree. Why don't they just go 5 wide? Yeah.
I don't know. The game plan against us should be the exact same every week, both on offense and on defense. I don't give a fuck who your team is.
I agree. There is a counter, which is just like, hey, you need to make sure your quarterback and wide receivers are on the same page. Understood. I think most quarterbacks at this level would be, the way we play defense, would be able to have enough success that it is just, someone's going to be wide ass open the way we play. Like wide ass open. And we also have no pass rush, really. Drake Jackson, though. That could be a guy.
You're playing zone with no pass rush.
The Nathan Perry goes, this will be my first offseason in half a decade to not plan months of content. I rely on you two to keep me informed. Here's hoping for enjoyable football these last 2 games. Appreciate that, Nathan. Would also love to have you back on in the off season, just so that you can chime in, because I'm sure you guys, as much as you appreciate our 2 voices, a new one now and then could be quite nice, or an old one in this situation with Nathan. So, KDot, your reaction?
The only thing I heard was you plan months worth of fucking content.
I heard that too. I was just gonna smooth right through that. KDot and I typically like a day before are just like, hey, you know what'd be cool? Just like, let's just scramble and just figure out if we can.
I'm high as a kite making graphics. That's all I'm doing.
And I'm just diving into numbers so I can find reasons for optimism with Josh Johnson at quarterback. I'm like, no, I got it. Here, let me do my part.
No, we do the rundown hours sometimes before the episodes come, ladies and gentlemen.
Hours is nice. That's very kind. About minutes. All right, here's Martin Collins.
How you feeling about this one? I don't know, man. How you feeling about this?
Okay, let's do it live. Here's Martin Collins to round out the comment mailbag. I listen to all the pods that are good. You two are my favorite.
Oh.
Your content, your comedy is just short of Fred Smoots, which might be the highest compliment we've received. Thoroughly appreciate that, Martin, and thoroughly appreciate Martin, and thoroughly appreciate all of you guys. KDot, your reaction to that?
I think I do. I think if I had Fred, I feel if Fred Smoot came and be a part of this podcast, the best part would be us not talking about football.
I agree with that. Gosh, what do you think? What do you think we'd talk about?
Orgies and love boats. Like, that's where
I would be so intrigued by that conversation, actually.
Just saying, anybody like the freaky diggy? Yeah, shout out anybody going to the Baltimore Playhouse on the 2nd of January. I'll be there. It's a little impact play.
And a Merry Christmas to all of you. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC sports podcast.
Jesus,
more specifically,
kink.
a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode And here I thought I was the delirious one. Amit, that is KDot, who did crush it last episode. And honestly, KDot, I thought you crushed it this episode as well. Hopefully it didn't depress you that much.
I don't know, man. I don't feel good about this. Which makes me actually feel better that they're going to win. I don't know, man. It's really fucked up in his brain right now.
Yeah. We talked. Anyway, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do. We really need the likes and subscriptions, guys. And
oh, God damn.
KDot.
Yeah, man. Watch it, don't watch it. Who gives a fuck?
But a Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yo, everybody, take care of your fucking mentals. This game could be ugly. Do not take it out on your family. Do not take it out on your pet. Don't do any other shit. You're about to be... Look, this time of the year, it's already fucking crazy. I know everybody's still dealing with the seasonal shit. There's sicknesses going around like crazy because Amit can't keep it in his pants. Like, there's tons of shit happening. Like, if you could just, regardless of the outcome of this game, just realize and know it's just a game. Season's already over. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck what Dallas does. They're still not making the playoffs. And if you care about draft position, just know theirs is going to be worse than ours. So, end of the day, just chill out. Enjoy football if you can. If not, turn the fucking game off. This one don't matter that much.
And on the flip side, if we win, this is an utterly humiliating loss for Dallas.
Hugely.
This would be hilarious. So anyway, enjoy the game, and we will see you guys after, not live after, it is Christmas after all, but we will release a post-game reaction likely Monday, latest Tuesday. So we greatly appreciate you guys. Take it easy. Enjoy. Happy holidays.
Never, bitch! Ha!
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.